Hey planner peeps, welcome to another video. It's good to have you back. This is part 2 of the February 2025 flip-throughs. I'll be showing you all the February pages in my journals. If you're new here, hi, my name is Chris, aka Terrible Hime. I make videos about productivity and stationery, as well as sustainable fitness, and I do the occasional vlog. If you have not seen part 1 of the February flip-throughs, I will leave it in the cards and in the description, but these videos don't need to be watched in any particular order. You might find that one interesting though, so I suggest you check it out right now or after this video. So let's just get into it. Here I have 4 different journals, and when I refer to a notebook as a journal, it means I am mostly using it for memory keeping and tracking, and these are all books that I plan to archive when I'm finished with them. My daily planners are more functional, more listy, and I'll probably end up trashing most of those spreads at the end of the year. I have a Hobonichi 5-year that I use for fitness and health. I have a Midori A6 that I use as my common placing book. I have a Hobonichi Day-Free A6 size that I'm using for plants, and I have a Hobonichi Weeks that is my cat journal. Before we jump into the pages, I just want to show you a few new stationery items that I purchased in February that have to do with this particular set of journals. In the part 1 of the February flip-throughs, I also had some new stationery that sort of specifically related to my planners. So if you want to see the rest of that haul, go check out that video. So the first thing I want to mention is that I purchased this A6 Hobonichi Day Free in February to use as a journal for houseplants and potentially gardening. I will show you the full setup, but I realized that this information was stuff that I wanted to keep year over year, so I decided to go with the bound book instead of keeping all of that only in my ring planner. To go with this, I did purchase another pencil board from Hobonichi. This is one of the one-piece pencil boards. I think this came out this year. This pencil board features Ace and Yamato. So I don't necessarily think it fits the theme of this journal, but I love One Piece, and the pencil boards are nice to have in sort of a collection manner. Also picked up this Energel Klena gel pen. I just wanted to try it out, but I actually didn't realize that it had the same inside as the other Energel. So I kind of regret it, but it does have a cuter body. I also picked up some more cat-themed washi tape from Jet Pens. Oh, this was all from Jet Pens, by the way. Cat-themed washi tape that I am using in my cat journal, of course. And then just something I purchased off of Amazon. I got a bunch of like plant stickers that I plan to use in that houseplant journal. They are like clear leaf stickers, basically like that, in a few different styles. So I think that's everything. Let's start with largest to smallest, I think. Oh, I've been using the Energel Klena basically only in this journal, so I just keep it in the pen loop there. So let's start with the Midori A6 grid notebook that I use as a common placing book. So in here I have mostly word of the day from Merriam-Webster, but I also add in a few other random Google searches that I do throughout the month. First thing that's different is I saw somebody on YouTube, and I don't think I'll ever be able to find this person again, but they use stickers to tape down the bookmark that comes attached to the notebook. I don't use that bookmark, so I thought that would be really cute. I might go in and like write some stuff on these stickers later on, but I haven't done that yet. So jumping straight into February, Anything with a gray dot is a word of the day. We had disruptions, presage, sarcophagus, zaftig, which I've never heard of before. It means having a full rounded figure or pleasingly plump. It says if the word is new to you and you would like to take it for a spin, please be advised that even though most dictionaries define it as implying attractiveness, people to whom it might apply may not appreciate its use. So keep that in mind if you wanted to try the word zaftig. I've never heard of that word before. We have canard, ad lib, malapropism, and then anything in green is for plants. And I wrote a whole thing about a new plant that I purchased in February. It is the Dracaena marginata ray of sunshine. And I would say also one of the reasons that I decided to get a journal just for plant stuff is because I was thinking that it would be nice to have this kind of information all in one place instead of spread through different months and pages and books, because this is information that I would actually refer to again. So it just talks about where the plant is from, watering, fertilizing, repotting, propagating, stuff like that. Finesse was another word. I also did an entry about another plant that I purchased that is the Hoya DS70 variegata. Also talking about where it's from, what it looks like, watering, fertilizing, etc. But basically like how to take care of the plant. Ecstatic, vestige, ruminate, hagiography, which is a biography. Hagiography, that's hard to say, is a biography that idealizes or idolizes a person and their life. So basically a biography, but you're really gassing that person up. Gallant, oh my god, billet doux, livid. Oh, a billet doux is a love letter. I think this was on Valentine's Day. Non sequitur, pertain, chutzpah, maybe, obtuse, mise en place. I should have really written down like some of the pronunciations for this. So it is a culinary process in which ingredients are prepared and organized before cooking. This was not a word of the day. This was something that a coworker of mine said multiple times in the month of February, and I had no idea what it was. But basically we were talking about small glass bowls that people use for like preparing all the ingredients for a recipe ahead of time. So like you prepare all the ingredients in your little dishes and then you can throw them in all at once really fast when you're ready to cook the actual dish. I looked up sunkodu, which is the phenomenon of acquiring reading material but letting it pile up in one's home without reading it. The term is also used to refer to the unread books on a bookshelf meant for reading later. This also came up in a conversation or maybe in a YouTube video. I don't specifically remember, but it kind of like refers more to like having a book collection, not necessarily reading all of those books or not necessarily buying a bunch of books to read, more about having it like in your house for the vibes, I guess. Oh, I think I was watching a video about Jimbocho, which is like the used book area in Tokyo, and I think maybe it was mentioned in that video. Flounder, Jabberwocky, astute. Jabberwocky refers to meaningless speech or writing. I didn't realize it wasn't an actual word. The Jabberwocky reminds me of, there's a funny weapon in Skyrim where it basically does random magical things if you use it on stuff. I'll see if I can like find a picture of it. Astute, causal, quip, superfluous. This one I accidentally grabbed the green marker and I had tried to use the gray one on top and it didn't really work, but it's fine. Ignoramus. And then I wrote an entry about body neutrality because it's a subject that I'm interested in personally. So body neutrality is sort of body neutrality is simply the act of taking a neutral stance toward your body, both emotionally and physically. This means not supporting the hatred toward your body's limitations or investing time and energy to love it either. You can simply be at peace with your body. So like this kind of thought process really appeals to me, but I wouldn't say that I'm personally like 100% body neutral. I'm kind of like in between, where there are a lot of things that I like about my body, and there's a lot of stuff that I do in my everyday life, like working out and dieting and stuff, to change the way that my body works. But I try to be neutral about the things that I can't change. Like, for example, right now I'm in a fat loss phase when it comes to my fitness, and that's not really body neutral. I don't particularly like the body fat percentage I'm at right now, and this is something that I can change, so I'm making an effort to change it. But personally, I don't like the way that my teeth look, and like, it's totally okay. You don't have to give me compliments or anything about them, but I just don't like the way that they look, and I'm neutral about it. I don't like let it cause me a lot of psychic damage or something like that, because it's not something that I am willing or going to change. So in some ways I try to be body positive, but in other ways I try to be more body neutral. And I think most people probably have kind of an in-between stance. At the very least, I think it's good not to hate yourself. Next up we have Doff, cryptic. And I saw this on Instagram. It was Japanese techniques to stop overthinking. I don't remember exactly what account I got this from, but basically there's 6 things and they have like little definitions. So Kaizen means improve just 1% each day. Small, steady changes lead to life-changing results over time. Number 2 is Ichigo Ichi. Every moment is unique and unrepeatable. Be fully present and appreciate its beauty. Number 3 is Wabi Sabi. Perfection is an illusion. Embrace flaws. They add character and meaning. And actually, I did a whole entry about Wabi Sabi in January. Shikata ga nai. Accept what you can't control and focus on what you can change. Peace follows acceptance. So this is kind of like what I was talking about when it comes to me and body neutrality or body positivity. I accept the things that I can't control or I don't want to change. You know, for example, like my teeth, I could get veneers, I could like basically completely replace my teeth so that they look better, but I'm not willing to do that. So I'm just gonna accept that they are the way they are. And then I focus on what I can change, which is like my body fat percentage or muscle to an extent, stuff like that. Kintsugi, broken pieces can be mended beautifully. Your imperfections are your strength. Number 6 is Ma, find harmony in stillness and space. Create balance by appreciating the pauses in life. So Kintsugi, I think, also might refer to the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold. If you've ever seen it, I'll put a picture. That's what I think of when I think of number 5. But yeah, this is just something I saw online and I thought it was really interesting, so I copied it over here. I've been trying to do that more, like if I save something on Instagram or some other form of social media, if it's something that resonates with me that I don't want to forget, I'll try to write it down in my comment placing book. And that was basically it for that was basically it for February. Let's see, how far in are we? We're getting close to the halfway mark, I think, in this book. I'm still thinking about if I want to keep the A5 size or move to an A6 size when I fill this comment placing book up. I probably will stick with the Midori paper because it works really well with the fountain pen I use, which is the TWSBI Eco. I think this is an extra fine nib. Yeah, this is extra fine, and I have the platinum carbon black ink in here. And it works really well, so I'm really happy to continue using this. Let's move on to the next one. Let's get into the health and fitness journal. So this is kind of like a two-parter. We have the Hobonichi 5-year in the A6 size. This is 2024 to 2028. And then I also have a weekly supplement that goes with it. So this is the 2025 weekly supplement. I do not have a weekly supplement for 2024. This was a suggestion from Little Coco Studio. I really like her YouTube content. She does a lot of stationery and planner videos. I'll link her channel in the description if you're interested in checking her out. She has a lot of really good stuff, so I really enjoy her content. Let's go through the daily pages. Let's go through this first, and then we will go through the weekly. But most of what's going on in here is like straight word dump. It's not like super duper interesting to other people, I would imagine. So this was how the February monthly turned out. A lot of walking in February because I am in a fat loss phase, and I added walks to my routine to help get my step count up. Generally speaking, I did pretty good with the workouts as well. There were a couple times in the month of February that things didn't go to plan. There was the 12th. I think I wasn't feeling good, so I pushed my workouts back. And then on the 23rd, which was a Sunday, I went to help my parents tile a backsplash in their home, and I was just like too tired to work out. But other than that, the workouts in general were pretty much on schedule and to plan. Let's jump into February, and I'll just like go through this quickly. The only super interesting part, I would say, is when I see dates where I can compare like my weight from 2024 and 2025, there's like a 5 to 10 pound difference, which I think is interesting and good, I guess, because I am in a fat loss phase right now. So basically I'm just writing over here how I'm feeling, any soreness, any injuries, how the workouts went, etc. And then on this side is the actual entire workout. And I did add at the bottom, if I do a walk like on the treadmill, or if I go outside, which I didn't do in February because it was cold, but I wrote down like what my walk was like how long I spent walking and how much distance the walk was. I also keep track of the weather up here, and for March, I won't be keeping track of the weather in my daily planner. I'm only going to keep it in here. I honestly just don't reference it that much. I thought that I might, but if I need to know about the weather on a specific day, I usually just check my phone. So here on the 12th, in 2024, I was about 158 pounds, and in 2025, I was down to 153.4. And then here on the 13th, I was 158.5 in 2024, and in 2025, I was 150.7. So there's a lot of daily fluctuations in weight, and that could be due to a number of reasons, like how much you ate the night before, how much water you have in your stomach, your bowel movements and stuff like that. So I don't generally look at the day-to-day fluctuations that much. I look more at like a trend overall, which I check in my food logging app, where I also log my weigh-ins. So these numbers are just kind of for tracking, and it's not really something that I think about too much. I kind of just write it down, and that's about it. It was rainy last year, and it was also rainy about the same time this year. A lot colder last year, though. Oh no, it's about the same. I had the highs and lows switched last year. So I've been really keeping up with this very well for all of 2025. It hasn't been that much of an ask to just sit down for 5 minutes and write about how I'm feeling. And usually I'll fill in the workout information while I'm working out. I do track that also in a Google spreadsheet, but I use that kind of as like a rough draft, and then I copy that information into here. And then there was no 29. I think it's funny the way February 29th is only divided into like 2 big spaces, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, overall, doing a really good job of keeping up with this. And now that I have like more information from like last year to this year, it's pretty interesting to see where I was at last year and where I'm at now. Last year around this time, I was also in a fat loss phase, but I don't think I ended up sticking with it. I kind of like fizzled off as I got closer to vacation time. And then in the back of the book, we have the yearly trackers. So in February, I tracked my macros every single day. So that means I was tracking like my food intake in my food app, which I don't do year-round. You can see how 2024 looks. Typically when I'm in a specific phase, and definitely when I'm in a fat loss phase, I track my macros so that I am staying like healthy and eating enough protein, getting enough carbs and fats and stuff like that. And this was my period tracking and like pain tracking. So I had more issues than usual with my stomach in February, and there were 2 days that I missed taking my birth control pill. But I will say I took my vitamins and supplements and stuff in general, but somehow the actual birth control pill just like eluded me. It was like in the corner of my pill organizer and I didn't see it. But this blue circle is when I'm in the time of my birth control pill that I would be getting my period in, then I actually did get my period. So anyways, the only other thing I think that I've been using this for is for stats, and I'm still just not training for strength, so I don't have any cool numbers to write about when it comes to like squats, bench, and deadlift. And that's it. And then in the weekly supplement, I am using this for weekly intentions and reflections. So this was basically the first week in February, and I'm just like writing a whole bunch of stuff. I talk about my priorities, what I'm nervous about, how I'm feeling mentally and physically, and then I reflect on all that stuff. I'm also writing down my workouts and my weigh-ins here as well. Fat loss phase, whether I'm tracking my macros, my current macro strategy, and then how that ended up at the end of the week, and I'm having my steps in here. All this kind of information here on the side was also in my rings planner, my daily planner, and I'm just not going to track that over there anymore. It's all going to be in here from now on, and that way I can easily keep these 2 journals together. But I've been using like different colors to like highlight stuff. It's not very decorative, but it's like just decorative enough, I would say. Just decorative enough for me to want to be in here. I started adding in action steps. So I would have my priorities and I would have my nervous about, and then I would write out some action steps to reach my priorities or to mitigate the things that I was nervous about. And I thought that was semi-helpful. Like I probably could have just thought of those things in my mind, but sometimes just like writing out your intentions for the week helps you do the thing. I had some problems in the month of February where I felt like I wasn't getting enough dietary fat. So a lot of like my priorities and action steps have to do with that. It's really hard sometimes to force yourself to eat more dietary fats. At least for me it is. But like overall, I did a pretty good job of sticking with my macro strategy and what I wanted to do with my steps. I had a couple hiccups in February, but it's not that big a deal. So right now I'm in a fat loss phase and I am documenting that in a video series. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, I will link the playlist in the cards and in the description, and you can check that out when you feel like it. I talk more in depth about like what I'm eating, my workouts, how I'm feeling and stuff like that. This is kind of more of an overview just for me and for you, I guess, if you're watching this. Feel free to like read this kind of stuff if you want. Pause the video and take a look. There's nothing in here that I don't want people to know about. If I really didn't want somebody to see something that's in one of my journals or planners, I just wouldn't include it. What week is this? This was the last week of February. So my priorities, nervous, action steps, mentally, physically, and then my reflections. This week, the start of March, I needed a break. Just like straight up, I needed a break. I've been hitting the gym pretty hard. I've been hitting my fat loss pretty hard for like the past couple months. And I took basically 2 full rest days, March 1st and 2nd. And then I also went off diet on Sunday. I didn't go like crazy or anything, but I had more calories. I allowed myself more calories on that day, and it was nice. I also didn't get my steps in those days, and that's totally okay. But yeah, this has been really nice because I find that the 5-year doesn't have enough space for me to write how I'm feeling in the longer term, rather than just like dailies. So having this space where I can talk about how the week went, how I'm feeling about my current fitness phase is really helpful. So I'm really glad that I added this in. Basically, I'm just not using the day-to-day dividers, and I'm just using it as like a journaling space. It's been working out really well for me so far. So that's basically it. This is just a lot of writing, but for me, it's really valuable information, and I'm definitely going to be holding on to this. And I wish I had something like this for before I started the 5-year journal. I do have like some spreadsheets with like old workout plans. Yeah, I just like don't have all the other information that would be nice to know. Next up, let's talk about my houseplant planner. So sorry that the cover is so shiny. This is a Kokuyo A6 cover, but it's kind of holding in a lot of the ephemera on the cover. In here, I have some pieces of origami. I have those stickers I showed you, some strips of paper. This was from a postcard. This was a sticker I got at a local plant shop, some washi tape stickers, and this craft paper that says houseplants was from a paper bag from a plant shop. So like I said, I'm basically just using this Energel Clenna. Let's take that out. Just have some notes here about journaling about plants, a little sticker. This is notes about watering. So I will link my most recent houseplant tour if you're interested. I have over 100 houseplants. I didn't do an exact count. I'd probably guess it's between 100 and 150. So I have a schedule for watering all my plants. I personally vibe with doing more frequent chores for shorter periods of time rather than setting aside like one day a week to water everything in the house. And I've been doing this for a couple months. It really works well for me, but I do have to evaluate that watering schedule month to month. A lot of the time in the summer, my plants need to be watered more because the house gets really hot, and in the winter I need to water less because the water isn't evaporating out of the plants as quickly. So this is me just taking notes on how often the different types of plants need to be watered. So these stickers are from Sterling Ink. I think I got them in an order from last year, and this I printed from Canva. So far, I haven't really done anything with this yearly calendar, but I want to try growing my own tomatoes this year, and I will probably use this to make a note of the steps in the process of doing that. So like when I start germinating, when I start planting, when I put the plants outside, stuff like that. So I haven't really done too much. I have the supplies, but I haven't done too much planning around that. I think I'll probably get started in April. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. I've never done any actual like gardening or plant growing for food, and I'm a little nervous about it, but I have friends that are willing to help me. I might end up covering this page eventually. I don't see myself using these calendars. In the yearly Calendex, I am using this for plant chores and plant related purchases that aren't actual plants, if that makes sense. So basically I can see at a glance, like when was the last time I bought potting soil? When was the last time I bought perlite? When was the last time I bought fertilizer? And then this is just an ongoing list of plant chores that I need to get done or have done in that month. So this does not include specific watering. I do that in the monthly pages, but it's like other stuff on top of that. So like repotting, cleaning plants, treating for pests, stuff like that. I did populate December and January from going through the daily pages in my daily planner, just so I can like fill this out, because this is 2025 start. It starts in December, and I just wanted to have that information in here. But I did use this basically for most of February and going into March. So some of the stuff I did in February was combine two of my silver stripe philodendrons. I had like two separate plants and I put them together. Wipe down the moss pole leaves, trim and propagate my vining philodendrons, and then like repots, stuff like that. It seems to be working well, and I don't think that I'll necessarily run out of space, because that's like 31 lines to write chores, and I don't necessarily have that many plant chores to do in a month. So I think it's been working well, and I hope that I can continue with that in the rest of these pages. I will probably not be using January, February, and March of 2026. And if this works out the way that I'm hoping it does, I will probably end up purchasing another day free. So far, it seems like the day free is a really good size, because I really specifically need the monthly pages, but aside from that, I don't need daily or weekly pages. I had played with the idea of getting another weeks, but I just don't have that much to write about when it comes to my plants. They're kind of passive. Like, I could force something, but I have so many other planners and journals, I don't necessarily need to make more work for myself. So here we go into the monthlies. This is what December looks like. This is what January looks like. This is what February looks like. So basically what I'm doing is writing down highlights here on the left-hand side, so good and bad. In the empty spaces, in the empty day spaces, like from the previous month or for the next month, I'm writing down notes about how the watering schedule worked out. So if I need to water something more, or water something less, or fertilizing concerns, stuff like that, I'll write it in those areas. And then each day, I'll write down what I need to water. And then the other things that I'm keeping track of in the daily spaces are when I buy a new plant, when I buy a plant-related product, and when I toss a plant or a plant dies. So no plants died or got tossed in February, but let's see. In January, on the 14th, I tossed out some propagations that were rotted. And I'm marking it with like a circle and a slash through it. When I buy a new plant, I'm marking it with a heart and I'm coloring it in yellow. And the $sign means that I purchased something plant related, but not a plant. So in February, I stopped by my favorite local plant store. I purchased a Monstera Thai Constellation from Walmart. My Christmas cactus is still blooming. I got a propagation from my mom, which was Sunday, February 23rd, when I went to visit them to help with the backsplash. She gave me a Marble Queen propagation. I bought some supplies for growing tomatoes. I made a note to say that my plants are really starting to thrive. I'm seeing a lot of new growth as the weather starts to warm up. But some bad things, I found scale on my mom's plants. So not on my plants, but I was looking at some of her houseplants, and she was saying that some of them are not doing so good. And when I looked closely at the leaves and the stems, I could see that she had scale. So scale is one of my least favorite pests. It's really hard to treat. And the only time I ever had scale on one of my plants, it was a goner. I couldn't save it. And I also found some thrips on some of my plants. I think I have the thrip situation under control. I've only noticed like one or two here or there, and I'll just like clean the entire plant and all the plants around it, but you hate to see it. At the same time, I'm not surprised since the weather is starting to warm up. Yeah, and when it comes to my watering schedule, I do transfer this information over to my daily planner because that's what I have on my desk open every day. But this I kind of only jump into like once or twice a week when I have something to write down. I do add a little bit of decoration here and there. Oh, and I also use a different Tombow marker every month, and I just write the number of the Tombow in the corner so I don't forget. Let's see. So it has basically a monthly spread all the way through to March of 2026. But like I said, I will probably be moving into a new one in January if this works out. Since I'm not using this for like future planning, I just don't see myself using these pages. And then I have an index. I don't normally do an index, but because these pages are undated and will be used for kind of a variety of things, I figured it would be a good idea to index what I'm writing about. And the Hobonichi pages are numbered, but there is space taken up on the bottom by like quotes and stuff. And this is a Japanese planner, so all the quotes are in Japanese. So first thing I have in here is a houseplant wish list. I did buy one of my wishlist houseplants, and that was the Dracaena marginata. I have kind of a potting soil mix recipe where I kind of wrote out how I like to mix up my general tropical houseplant mix for repotting. And then this is kind of the format I'm doing for writing about new plants. So this is a spread about the Philodendron Florida Green. I purchased one from Home Depot, I think. And basically I write out the scientific name, what kind of plant it is, how big it gets, the lighting, watering, soil, temperatures, how to propagate, and then just kind of more information that I found interesting or that I thought I might need to know. And then I drew a few pictures of what the leaves look like, juvenile and mature. And I used my Tombow dual brush markers and a, what is this? Faber-Castell Pit Artist Pen Fude nib. This is the hard nib. I think these are permanent ink. Yeah, this is permanent ink, which I like. So this is kind of like the general layout of what these types of spreads will look like. I also did a spread about scale because my mom got scale, and it was not fun to actually look up pictures of what scale looks like, but I kind of tried to draw it in. And I basically talk about what it is, how it damages the plants, what it looks like, and how to treat a scale infection. And then this is a monthly page for March. I don't have one for February, but basically I just labeled it, and I kind of am writing brief journal entries when something comes up that I want to remember. And I plan to do that for the rest of the year, but I didn't have anything specific for February, or I wasn't thinking about doing that for February, I guess is what I would say. And I actually am using some of the back pages in here, but this has, let's see, 171 notes pages, which I think will be more than enough for what I'm planning to do in here. I haven't decided on what to use the timetable for. I'm not sure if I'll even use it at all. I am using the graph paper, so it comes like this, to track the size of the leaves on the Monstera Thai constellation that I bought from Walmart. On the bottom here, this would be the number of leaves, or like when a new leaf comes in, that number, I guess. And then here is the leaf length in centimeters. So how long it is from the tip to the stem, because Monstera typically get really big. So I haven't used this graph paper for anything because I feel like this might extend over to this side. Down here on the bottom, I had enough space for 16, and it goes from 0 to 81 centimeters. I bought that plant on February 14th. This is the favorites page that I am using for new plants. Basically, I'm writing the date that I got that plant, I'm highlighting it with the color of the month, and then I'm writing the name, where I bought it, and what I paid for it without tax, and then just like one tiny little note. So February, I got the Hoya DS70 variegata from a local plant shop for $15. It was the only one of this kind of plant that they had. It has cute little fuzzy leaves. I got the Dracaena marginata, also from that same plant shop, also for $15. And I made a note to say that I'm glad that I found it as a very small plant. Typically, when you find this plant in stores, it's already basically a tree. Got the Monstera Thai constellation from Walmart for $30. I was influenced by my friend JD Yanes because she's a Monstera girly and she's been talking about it a lot, and then I bought one. The Philodendron Florida Green from Home Depot for $15. It was already a pretty big plant and I couldn't believe the price. And then I got the Marble Queen Pothos propagation from my mom for free. And I hope I don't kill it. I don't have a very good track record with pothos plants, even though they're known for being easygoing plants. And they have 2 spreads of favorites, so I think I should have enough for everything that I buy. I didn't fill this out. So this would be the My 100 page, and I'm basically gonna do my favorite plants of the month and just pick out 5 plants in my collection that I'm really loving and appreciating that month. So for January, it was my green Hoya carrii, the global green pothos, Christmas cactus, rattlesnake calathea, and whalefin snake plant. I need to go and fill in February. I forgot about that. I'm also just highlighting it with that same color of the month. Then I'm not sure if I have anything else in here. I should put some stickers down. And yeah, I didn't even put my contact information. I've kind of been using the back page as a place to swatch the Tombow markers. Then in the back, I just have some extra plant-related and green-colored pieces of paper that I might add in as decoration. So far this is working really well. This is probably the only book in my system that I don't dip into every single day. Although I guess I do kind of use it every single day in that I have my watering schedule in here, and I do typically water plants every single day, but it's just like one plant or like one type of plant. And it's nice that it allows me a little more time to like really check over the plants that I'm watering that day. I think it's been really helpful for pest control, because if I only have to water and look at 3 plants on that day, I can take more time to check the leaves, check the soil, check the stems, look around for pests, look for damaged leaves, stuff like that. So it's really been working out for me. I have toyed with the idea of doing like a video about 1 month of plant chores, but I'm just like really bogged down by this fat loss phase YouTube series that I'm doing, so I'm having a hard time making time for other stuff, but maybe later in the year that would be an interesting video. Okay, last but not least is my cat journal, which is also in a shiny plastic cover, sorry. This is the Hobonichi Weeks 2025 Bow and Tie Sushi English Standard Edition. Let me take out my bookmarks. Oh, I have the Yumi Kitagishi pencil board in here, but I did not get the Yumi Kitagishi cover, which is interesting. I don't know, just this cover is like really cute and cheerful, and I really like it. And I customized it by adding some cat stickers. First thing you'll notice is different. I did the same thing that I did in the Midori, and I taped down the bookmarks with stickers because I don't use them. I put down a sticker for February, and this was how my word of the day spread turned out. I also put down my favorite cat washi tapes, which I don't remember the brand, but if I can find a link, I will link it for you. This one I purchased in Japan, and these two I had to purchase from Amazon Japan. It's really hard to find cat washi tape. I'm hoping when I go back in May, I'll be able to find more. So let's see, anything really sticking out? I found a lot of whiskers this month. That's what's sticking out for me. I wrote down whiskers like 3 times in here. See, let's get over to February. So this is how the monthly page turned out in February. I've been using my Tombow markers a lot more, and I really like how cute and colorful this looks with the coloring in of the little doodles that I did. So typically I'll write like a highlight of the day, but if there's nothing that really stands out to me, I'll just do a little doodle. Here are 2 of the whiskers that I found this month. This one is funny because my husband's parents just had this random cat stand. It looks like a plant stand. It's like a small table, and I kind of tried to draw what the cats on the stand looked like. They look crazy. I'll insert a picture. I think I did an okay job. The highlights of the month were found so many whiskers. I even found a Totoro whisker. Totoro is my cat that passed away last year. Took a lot of selfies and got some pictures of Mafique and Joey sleeping. So this is Mafique, by the way. Oh, this is also a whisker under here. This was the plant stand that Joey's mom gave us. It's pretty funny looking, TBH. Mafique was so cute and cuddly and energetic. I'm so happy he's feeling better after being sick. He was sick for a couple months, but now he's feeling much better. And then this is a picture of my parents' dog. Her name is Trixie. She's a beagle. And I took some pictures and video of her while I was visiting my parents. I really like a lot of these doodles. Oh, this was the day I got the washi tape. This guy is super funny. This one was inspired by a creator on Instagram, and I will link their Instagram. Basically, they do a doodle a day, I guess, about their own life, but the character that they use is like a gray cat, and this was kind of inspired by their art style. I think that they use a Traveler's Notebook monthly booklet to do their doodles, but yeah, I really love their content. I've been following them for not too long, but I look forward to their videos every single day. And I really like how this little Siamese cat turned out. I think she looks super cute. I personally love Siamese cats. I've never had one, but one of my favorite breeds of cats. So yeah, overall, I really love how this spread turned out. When we get into the February weekly pages, I think you might have already seen this one, I'm not sure. So this is all functional stuff, and this is just journaling about how the week went. I also put pictures and stuff in here. So if you want to take the time to read it, go ahead. for the most part, it's just me talking about how we hung out during the week and stuff like that. I'll typically put, like, if it's something important, I'll put it up at the top. Usually it's related to functional things. I put a lot more pictures in February because in January I printed out a lot of extra ones. I've kind of been leaving a space in between, like, different thoughts, and I do fill out this side of the sheet on Sunday or Monday following what happened during the week. So I keep like a post-it note or something in here just to make note of like all the stuff that happened, and then I put the highlights on the right hand side. I really like how this one turned out. I think it looks really cute with all the pink. So these are both pictures from my office, but this color scheme for the tracking doesn't really match. I also found another whisker that I put in here. So also, I just want to say that I'm not pulling the whiskers off of my cat's face. These are whiskers like I'm finding in the bed or on the floor or something like that. This is when I got the jet pens order. Here's another whisker. I found so many whiskers. Yeah, so this was the label on the washi tape, and I just put that in. So, you know, if you have a Hobonichi book, you know that they have the quotes at the bottom of the page. And this one actually relates to pets. So I'll read it for you. It says, "My cat's name is Don. When he was still a stray, he would cross the fence and land on the roof of our parking spot with a Don sound. I knew he'd arrived when I heard that noise. I couldn't wait to see him every day. Don, here he is. Before I knew it, I'd begun calling him Don." So over here, kind of inspired by that, I wrote down some of the nicknames that we call Mafik. So like, I call him like Macheep and Macleep sometimes. And my friend Ariel calls him the Cheapy Boy. But yeah. I don't know how I feel about this snake washi tape behind these pictures. It's kind of random. And then I think this was the last week of February. I started using a different pen. I switched over to this Micron PN. I don't like the thickness of it, and I switched it for this week. I went with the 005, but I like that it's permanent, but I was getting a little bored with all the ballpoint pen. And then I used the new ink that I purchased. So if you watched the part 1 of the February flip throughs, I mentioned I got a new ink, and this is what it looks like in writing more. So I don't really have trouble with fountain pens in this Hobonichi weeks. Some of them are maybe not as fine as I would prefer, but it hasn't really been a big deal for me. Which one is this? This is my Kaweco Sport. For some reason, this one was writing particularly thick, but I don't know what kind of nib this has. Extra fine. Yeah, this is also an extra fine. I usually go for extra fine nibs. But yeah, weekly spreads all turned out really cute, still functional and fun. And then let's get into the back pages. I have not been keeping an index here. Oh, okay. So I ordered some socks online, and when the socks came in, they came with these cards about cats that apparently the company helps sponsor or adopt. I'm not really sure. You know, you never know how truthful these companies are, but you would like to think that they are being truthful and that they are helping when they say they are. But I thought they were cute, so I put them in here. And I basically just wrote February 16th, I ordered some socks. The socks came with cat cards. Oh, this was December. Where are we? Okay. So I actually have 2 spreads back here for February. I took a lot of pictures and I kind of grouped them together. So these 2 are pictures in the living room. So I'll insert a picture. It's a little hard to explain, but instead of having a couch, we have a king-size bed in our living room that we hang out in. So these were pictures of him hanging out in there. These were all pictures in the office. He's sitting on my lap here. He's under my desk. He's next to me in the drawer of my desk, and he has like a little window seat. These are both pictures of him sitting in Joey's chair. So this is Joey's stool, and this is a chair in Joey's like Magic the Gathering room. And I thought that was funny because he always steals Joey's chair. He doesn't sit in my chairs. He sits in Joey's chairs. And then in February, I kind of consolidated all of the cat beds from around the house and put them all in one place. But it's funny because this one is on a chair. It's on like an armchair, and these two are on a couch. And he's been using these cat beds more on these chairs than he has when they were on the floor. I thought that was really funny, but I got a picture of him using each one. And I said, the three Macheeps of the Napocalypse, which I thought was a little bit clever. I'm not going to say that I'm funny, but I thought that was a little bit clever. And then I had this sticker with 3 different cats, and I thought that was also kind of funny. And then this was a second spread for February because I just took so many pictures and I labeled it Just a Boy and His Humans. So I got a lot of selfies with Mafik this month, and I also got pictures of him and Joey napping. And then this is a picture that Joey took of Mafik laying with me. So I thought that was really cute. I just wanted to commemorate that. And then for some reason, I'm pretty sure this is Joey's hand and this is my hand, and we did the same thing with Mafik's face at different times, which I also thought was funny. But yeah, I like how both of these spreads turned out. I think they were pretty cute. I really like that having this journal makes me want to take more pictures and have more memories with Mafik. Because I'm the kind of person that struggles to take pictures and to like remember things. So it's been really nice, I will say. I'm enjoying it. In the back, still not doing anything with the favorites. Still not doing anything with the My 100. I have referenced this a couple times actually to find a symbol. This hasn't changed. And then this is the 365 days checkoff, and we've been very good about keeping up with the cat litter. So we scoop every single day, and then once a month we completely replace the cat litter. And we've been really good about that. And I kind of like divide it up by the month, so it's a little easier to keep track of. Sometimes I don't do this every single day, but I will catch up. And then this tiny whisker here is the other one I found that was Totoro's. You know, you think you keep a clean house and then something like that happens. But personally, I'm not mad about it. Overall, still really loving this. I'm in this every single day, keeping track of cat-related chores and memory keeping and stuff like that. But it's so small that it's not a big lift. And then when it comes to the end of the month, I'm excited to sit down and print out pictures and glue them in collage and stuff like that. Where did I put everything? So yeah, that is everything to do with my current 2025 journaling situation for February. And it's honestly just been a joy to be in these books. I won't say that I have a lot of free time because I feel like I'm always very busy, but I make time to be in all of these planners and notebooks and journals because I really enjoy being in them. And most of the time I look forward to it. The only one that's kind of tedious, I would say, is this one, but this information is so valuable to me. I don't really have a hard time making myself sit down and write about how I'm feeling. I think it's really good for me to reflect on that kind of stuff, because sometimes I'll just like go through life without really taking time to think about how I'm actually feeling. And yeah, it's good to reflect on that sometimes. So everything is working out for me, and I'm really glad that I added in this little plant journal. It hasn't been much of a lift aside from what I was already doing in my original system from December and January, and I'm not having any issues with any of these. It's been really great. I don't foresee any of these specific notebooks changing for the rest of the year, except when I run out of pages in my common placing book and I replace it. But I think all of these things are things that I will be holding on to for quite a long time. I would say unless I just decide I don't like houseplants anymore, then I might recycle this one. Or if I decide that I'm never gonna work out again, then I might recycle this one. But this other stuff is all informational and memory keeping, and I'm seeing myself just holding on to it. Yeah, I think that's about it. The only difference that doesn't really have to do with these, but from my daily planner, I'll be moving all of my fitness tracking exclusively into these books rather than having them in both places. But other than that, everything's basically staying the same. So yeah, I guess I'll end the video here. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section below this video. I will have links in the description for all of the things that I've mentioned, if possible, if I can find links for them. But if I missed something and you are looking for that link, just leave me a comment and I'll do my best to find it for you. How is your system working out for you? I would love to know. I've seen a lot of different things on YouTube. Some people are really vibing with their systems, and some people have already completely changed. So I've been really enjoying my system, as you can probably tell from the video, but there's always that small part of me that thinks, well, what if I was doing this? Or what if I got that journal? Or what if I switched to that planner? And I'm trying really hard also just to like stick to my guns this year and not planner hop, but I am allowing myself to add more stuff. Yeah. Let me know how your 2025 is going so far. I would love to have a conversation in the comment section. If you're new here, thanks for sticking around and watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back next month with another flip through. I don't think I have any other specific planner and journal videos for March, but yeah, the monthly flip throughs have been really great, so I will do my best to continue with that. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, that's okay, give it a thumbs down. If you are new here, hi, my name is Chris, aka Terrible Hime. It was good to have you, and I hope we can talk about planners and stationaries in the comments. But if you're liking my content and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to get updates on what I'm doing next. See y'all in the next one. Bye.